People barely wander through the territory anymore due to the weather getting colder, which bored the watchdog of the infamous Slender Man's turf. She wasn't biologically a dog, but she had earned the name for guarding the perimeter, crawling on all fours and notorious for aerial attacks. She sported a faded red yet tattered hoodie, sleeves rolled up to reveal self-inflicted wounds which have healed and left nothing but scars, along with a dark gray handkerchief tied around her neck with the operator sign embroidered onto it, signifying that she was indeed a meat puppet of the tall man. She also had stained beige cargo pants, black heavy-duty combat boots, and a mask with gruesome haunting attributes. Its black, empty, hollow eyes, its wide, cryptic smile, and the dried-out splattered bloodstains from her previous victims can strike fear into the core of anyone sane. Her most well-known trait was her gloves, which contained sharp, curved metal claws at the fingertips. All of these features contribute to what she is, Slender Man's proxy. Rouge trudged through the underbrush, scooting away scattered human remains that gave off the musk of decay every now and then, with her boot, whilst going through the heavily accommodated fog. For a fact, she knew no hunts were going to be made today. No human in their right mind would take a hiking trip up this early in the day. For crying out loud, it was twilight hour. The masked proxy didn't seem to find anything interesting to do in the meantime. The others were still asleep and she was on duty to watch the claimed terrain. She scaled up onto the treetops and found a sturdy branch to lounge on, while she kept close watch from above. As the sky became a lighter hue and the sun rose, there was more life in the forest. Not just the chirping of cicadas, but the unmistakable voice of a human being. "No, I haven't found Greg yet, honey. I'm trying. The cops aren't doing much, and I'd feel like a terrible father if I don't do something about it. It's been 3 weeks, Kayla." The voice belonged to an adult male from the sound of it. Finally, after weeks of waiting for something worth preying on, Rouge sat up in a fetal position, digging her metal claws into the branch as she listened attentively to pick up where the noise was coming from. Once she pinpointed their location, she was off, transitioning from treetop to treetop, emitting high-pitched coyote-like cries. Once she caught sight of a wandering, lanky, middle-aged man who was chattering on the phone, Rouge's cackles ceased to light airy chuckles, before swiftly moving through treetops, branch to branch, causing leaves to rustle with her quick momentum. She continued toying with her victim. Seeing him drenched in fear was enough to encourage her continuous torment. As she transitioned from tree to tree, she began her haunting animal-like yips, sending shivers down the man's spine. "I'll call you back, sweetie," he stuttered as he clicked to end the call. He dropped the phone due to a trembling hand, trying to muster up enough courage to produce a coherent sentence. Gregory, he muttered pathetically, hoping that he was hearing his lost loved one. Little did he know that his son had already fallen victim to the Slender Man. After a while of toying with his weakness, she stopped on a sturdy branch above him, looming over him and staring down at the withering man with dark, hollowed eyes. He could hear the muffled sound of heavy breathing coming from above him. A malicious, cryptic grinned, blood-stained mask obscured the predator's face. "Don't look up, or you'll regret it," she cooed again, tapping her clawed fingertips against the wooden bark, before digging her sharp metal nails into it, causing the fresh wound to bleed sap and drip onto the man's head. The danger was worse than anything he had ever encountered. The gruesome attributes of this creature almost made her seem so inhuman. He began to shriek and stammered backward as he saw the horror before him. Rouge lunged herself off the branch and onto him, knocking him back off his feet and onto the ground, straddling him tightly, and began slashing at his face, her claws cutting through his flesh like butter and twisting his arms until they broke. The defenseless man began howling in pain as he tried to fight the proxy off of him, but to no avail. She had him pinned down and was literally tearing him apart. His cries were only music to her wicked ears as she used the tip of her claw to penetrate through his eye, hooking it and ripping the sphere out of its socket. She ogled it before tossing it aside and doing the same to the other. She continued her torture until he gave out his final blood-curdling cry that echoed throughout the woods. "You shouldn't be wandering through here, stranger." The murderer chuckled as the disfigured man lay dead in his own crimson liquid.